Hello everyone. I hope you enjoyed your lunch and you're ready to follow me through the next 15 to 20 minutes. My name is Harthus and I am globally responsible for business development, strategy and sustainability for battery systems at Webasto. Today, I would like to share with you the challenges we see as a Tier 1 supplier for the European battery market. And I'd like to share my view on the European market, even though some of the challenges might apply globally. That's because I think that we here in Europe can work on a blueprint that can then be adapted to the rest of the world. So I don't need to tell you, the world around us is changing more rapidly than ever before. Some key trends: the continuous technological advancement that is driven by continuous innovation to enhance energy density and to reduce costs. The investment requirements in our industry, mainly for manufacturing and R&D. The global competition we're facing in terms of cost, technology, and production efficiency. And finally, the skilled workforce we need in order to drive innovation and to keep up the quality of our products. And above that, I'm sure you all will know that we're facing also external factors, such as geopolitical crisis, pandemics, and inflationary effects. So later on, I would like to show you how we see the challenges and how Webasto is addressing those challenges. But in order for you to understand our approach, I would like to shortly introduce Webasto to you. So we have a 120-year history. Most of you might know us for parking heaters, Webasto Standheizung. And some of you might even know us from being the market leader for automotive roof systems. So what we did, and you see that we started in 2017, is that we also reacted to the trend of electrification. In 2017, we dared to enter 3 new markets, naming high voltage batteries, charging, and electric heating solutions. So today, these 3 corporate startups are already accounting for 40% of the 7.2 billion euro order entry we had last year. So they have become our second pillar for Webasto, roof and electrification. So within the past 90 years of our automotive experience, we have developed into a top 70 global automotive supplier. And with that, we managed to stay 100% family-owned and independent. Our headquarters is in Stockdorf, which is a very small city close to Munich. But from there, we dare to enter all markets in the world. So we have more than 50 locations worldwide, including battery plants in Europe, China, and Korea. So being close to our customers helps us to fulfill their requirements and also to manage our local supply chains. That's why we choose to stay close to our customers at all parts of the world. Our products, it's what we call 2 strands of a DNA. So on the one hand, we have standardized battery systems for commercial vehicle OEMs and smaller OEMs, such as off-road customers. So here we offer a fully developed modular off-the-shelf system that can be applied to customers' needs. On the other side of the helix, we offer individualized battery systems for global large OEMs that we develop according to customer requirements. And why did we choose the helix as a picture? Because we think our battery systems mutually stimulate each other. So what we learn on our standardized own development, we can also apply to the OEM projects. On the other hand, we managed to fulfill the automotive standards in safety and quality, and that's what we can offer to our smaller OEM customers as well. Now, having said this, let's dive deeper into the challenges we're facing, and I'd like to start with the people dimension. So many of you know, and we know best, because we have had the very first corona case officially in Germany in our headquarters in Stockdorf. So we remember quite well how dramatically work life has changed during COVID. So work life is now being more digital, increasingly efficiency-driven. On the other hand, we see that we're facing a more and more heterogeneous workforce, with Generation Z entering the workplace. Also, combined, especially in Europe, we see a skills shortage. We see a clearly employee-driven market in Europe, and that imposes new requirements for us all as employers. So what's the Webasto solution to this? Of course, we offer hybrid work models. Of course, we offer flexible work. And of course, we do have fruit baskets. We do have a very nice office building in Stockdorf, so whenever you have the chance, come and visit us. But that's not the point. For us, it's most important that we perceive the workplace as a place of human interaction. That's also why I chose this picture. Even though it's a stock picture, it could have been taken right away in our office buildings. So we started from a little startup in a small farmhouse in Planegg, close to Stockdorf. And the table tennis plate, for us, is a symbol for the corporate mindset we have developed, a mindset of open-mindedness and of passion for our products. And combined with a strong set of values that we have from the Webasto Group, including people centricity, this for us is a key factor in attracting and keeping the right talent. When it comes to customer and supplier relationships, we do have a core strength from our former business. We have well-established relationships to our own customers, to our OEMs. We have had decades of business together. But what's the challenge behind that? Let's face the truth. These relationships have been very hierarchical and sequential in the kind of collaboration we have. So on the other side, we do also have a very dynamic and fragmented battery business. We do have a technically complex product, which is highly regulated. So in order to face these challenges, our approach is to have a relationship that is more partner-like with our own customers. So let me give you an example. A few years ago, it would have been impossible to not to commit to requirement specifications 5 years prior to SOP. Today in the battery business, unthinkable to make these commitments in such a time before SOP. So what we do with our customers is an increasingly agile and project-driven approach that requires a strong collaboration and also trust, mutual trust to each other. And we get very positive feedback from our customers for this new approach. So we have to stem huge projects. We're facing a lot of unpredictabilities, volatile volumes, and high investments. So besides the success, we think that we need to share pain and risk with our customers as well. And I'm saying this knowing very well that we're customers to our own suppliers as well. Another challenge and another buzzword, sustainability. One word I would like to mention, all of you know, the Lieferketten-Sorgfaltspflichtengesetz, the Supply Chain Due Diligence Act. I'm sure this is a headache for all of you. So what we see as the economical perspective of this challenge is the need for reduction of energy consumption, the sourcing of green energy and low carbon footprint materials. The global complex supply chains, that's one side of sustainability. For us, the other side of the challenge is an ecological and social perspective. And that's even more important for us, I would say, because as a family-owned company, profit itself is not the first means. So we do want to make profit in order to reinvest in our technology and our people, into job security. So for us, sustainability is not an obligation. Sustainability is a mindset. Big words, but do we also walk the talk? I mean, battery business in itself is not very sustainable yet. I would like to give you an example of what you see here, our plant in Schierling in the middle of Bavaria, where we have installed some first projects to improve the sustainability of our battery production. So as you can see in the picture, we have installed a photovoltaic system with nearly 700 kilowatt peak to cover 100% of the energy consumption of our battery assembly, and we're planning to double that. We are sourcing by today already 100% green energy. We use second life commissioning of batteries to store 1 megawatt hour of energy. We offer flexible working models also for blue-collar workers, such as the 4-day week. We have started a pilot project for recycling of batteries with external partners. And finally, we are participating in a municipal wind park project to generate more green energy. Having said this, I have to admit that, of course, these lighthouse projects are way more easier to realize in Europe than they are in other parts of the world. In our case, in China or Korea, for example. But we will follow this path faster in Europe and maybe a bit slower in the other parts of the world in order to fulfill our sustainability targets. So if you're interested to learn more about how we see sustainability and how we imagine a greener battery, you should come and visit our booth and see our green battery. And coming to the challenge of scaling business. From our view, a main challenge is to scale business in small projects as well as in large projects. So we do have this great variety of projects. On the one hand, we need manual precision work and multi-product lines in order to serve customers in small and medium projects, such as the ones we serve in Schierling. On the other hand, and that's the second picture you see, we have large-scale OEM projects with huge production plants and a high automation. This picture you see here is taken in our Dangjin plant for our customer HKMC in Korea. So how do we address this challenge? For example, how do we manage to scale a large plant currently in Eastern Europe for one of our European customers? 3 points I would like to point out here. We're using cross-divisional competences from the Webasto Group. So we have a great network for sales, R&D, and purchasing, for example. We do have operational excellence. So the blueprints we have adopted, for example, in China in our battery plant, we can then take back to Europe and learn from them. We have proven local for local concepts. For example, when we ramped up our Korean plant during COVID in less than 24 months prior to SOP. So to stem the growth, we need internal and external partners. And we need to ramp up our team as well. So here I would like to show you what scaling business means for us as Webasto. You see, we started from 52 people in a little small farmhouse close to Stockdorf. And by today, we've grown to more than 1,100 employees for the battery business. Facing this growth, we can be sure that the challenges I've just mentioned will continue to persist due to the fast pace and also the external conditions in our industry. But we have found our solution approach. Our solution is having the right partners. Having the right partners in our passionate people. Having the right partners in society and local governments. And also having the right partners in our own customers and suppliers. Together with these partners, we will be successful in scaling the European battery business. And before we start, maybe a little Q&A, I would like to conclude with a short snapshot of what scaling battery business looks like for us. So I've brought you a short video that we call the birth of a battery. It's a process that takes 3 minutes in real time, but is shortened to 30 seconds here.
Anna, thank you very much for your presentation. You triggered a number of questions from the audience. One is concerns the comparison Europe versus overseas. So how come you see pilots slower overseas? We have made opposite experiences, higher battery expertise, more skilled staff, more skilled suppliers. Can you elaborate why it's slower overseas compared to Europe?
That was referring specifically to the topic of sustainability. So the pilot projects we are doing for making our own production on our product more sustainable, we feel that the regulation supporting sustainability is much more, well, forward here in Europe. One concrete example is producing your own energy. For our plant in Korea, currently that's not possible. We're not allowed to produce that and to sell that to other parts of Korea or to produce it for our own plant. So we feel that, for example, in Bavaria, the economic conditions and the regulatory commissions are supporting us in the approach we take there.
Okay, that's something we don't hear too often here at the forum. Another question. You're a privately held company, I know that, but are you already profitable in your e-mobility business unit? First part, and second, why were you successful in South Korea? So these are two separate questions.
Yes, thanks for those questions. Of course, as I think major parts of the, all of you here, we have faced large investments. So we're still in the phase of recovering those investments by ramping up, because we're still in the ramp-up phase. Fortunately, we are so lucky that Webasto has a very strong second pillar in its roof business and heating business as well. So we have the right combination in our portfolio that supports us as a grown-up corporate startup in developing further. And now you need to help me what the second question was.
The second question, why were you successful in South Korea?
Well, we were a bit surprised ourselves because we thought that major growth would have been realized in China first. But we have had very good relationship with our customer HKMC, Hyundai Kia Motors, in Korea. And that's also one strength that we have internally at Webasto, that we have very strong, very trusting relationships with our customers. And especially in Asia, that helps us that we know our customer for decades and they dare to do new project with us. So that's why we ramped up in Korea first.
Okay, interesting. Another question also relates to financials, funding, if you will. You mentioned it already, internal startup in the EV technology starting in 2017. How do you compete for funds with established business units, roof systems, heating systems? So is there an internal competition? How is it decided upon?
Of course, there's an internal competition, and now we have grown up from a startup to a grown-up business unit. So it's getting harder and harder for us to compete for internal funding. First of all of this wouldn't have been possible if there was no one supporting us in the supervisory board or the management board. So there were people that had a vision of electromobility and were willing to invest in that. So we have, of course, had significant amounts of investment that maybe in other companies wouldn't have been possible. So yes, we're competing, and I think what is important is that we were successful. We were acquiring, as I said before, many projects last year, and our business is actually currently scaling up. So it's easy to argue for more.
Okay, one final question. There are more, but I'm going to ask one more supply chain related. How do you see your partnership with your Asian cell suppliers? How do you ensure safety in your cell supply chain?
Of course, many cell suppliers currently are based in Asia, and we are collaborating with them. As we are collaborating with OEMs, we often have the cells, as a Beistellteil from our OEM customers. So we, in the large OEM projects, mostly we don't source the cells. But for our own projects in our standardized battery, of course, we're checking the requirements for the cells. We're in an exchange with many cell suppliers. And of course, we have to then find ways to cooperate in terms of which markets to enter, in terms of supply, safety, or the amount of the supply we need. Yeah, where our solution is partnering and collaboration in this as well, also with the cell suppliers.
You mentioned that partnering, how important that is.
Yes.
So Anna, thank you very much for your insights into a tier 1 supplier and how to go about getting into and scaling the battery business. Thank you very much.
Thank you.